my gosh. So is there an inferiority complex that's always running, or?
It's more insecurity, I think, than inferiority, but there's a fine line between the two.
Right. And so when you've worked with kids and for yourself, how did you learn to integrate, or did your family help you with integrating yourself? Did your mom and dad realize what they were dealing with, or did?
I think they're still realizing what they're dealing with. But they knew something weird was happening.
Right.
But everything helped round me out. My family, as I got better at choosing friends and who I listened to, and what I worked in, because the industry I fell into tends to attract engineers and smart people and other prodigies and so on. And the industry exploded with smart people, computing from the mid-'80s onwards. I just exploded with the industry, and that helped me because the people I was surrounded by were either prodigies or damn close. So I was with like-minded people.
Right, which is
and
so
I could
important.
communicate in a very normal way with them.
Right.
If I had tried to do the same thing in other industries that had been around much longer, you take legal or medical industries, where it's much more about the amount of knowledge you can memorize and about life experience and about concepts and theories and things from hundreds of years ago. In that mode, I would have struggled a lot more. But in computing, everything was brand new. It was possible to know everything about computers for a good number of years because there was very few books to know about.
Right.
I could grow with it, as could the people around me. We had a common language, and it attracted the kind of people I could relate to and repelled the kind of people I couldn't, naturally.
Right, right. Gosh, you're very fortunate that you fell into something that completely suits you.
Yes.
I mean, it's really, really fortunate. I think of the kids.
I don't know what else I would do.
Yeah. I think of the kids that are out there that that have this ability, but they haven't found their niche of what their ability absolutely is in. I mean, do you have any guidance for anyone with this sort of conflict going on?
Not great guidance, other than I've been absolutely lucky that I fell into just the right industry at just the right time.
Right.
And I never forget that. At least half my success is due to lucky timing.
Right, right.
The only thing I can recommend to other people is no job is like the job description says it is. No position entails what they promise you it'll entail in the interview. So if you sit back saying, I don't know what to do, and you end up not taking any job because of it,
right,
you're better off tossing the dice and have 10 different jobs in the most different industries you can find. And at least then you've progressed because you've either decided, now I know definitely what I don't want to do,
right,
which narrows the field down,
right,
or you'll accidentally discover that you love something that on the surface of it you'd never in a million years think you'd do.
Right, right. Well, now today I'm going to skip ahead because you're dealing with enormous things going on with the computer industry now. I mean, we're talking about things from globalization to supply chains to we were talking about earlier B2B exchanges. Let's talk about the B2B exchanges again, because it's fascinating with the business to business, which is what B2B stands for, business to business exchanges, and how the whole market and world is working this way now. Let's explain that and talk about that for a minute.
It's getting that way, and I think some of that conversation came from you were asking me about artificial intelligence,
right,
application of it today, and so on.
Let's talk about artificial intelligence and then go into the B2B.
Just to explain kind of where it fits. There's basic computing up to what I call the computer science aspect of things, which is building things mechanically and well, and they do what they're designed to do, and they follow the procedures they're supposed to follow. And from there forward, there is what most people think about with artificial intelligence, the sci-fi, robotic being that looks you can't tell the difference between that and a human being, the Terminator type scenario. Well, between basic computer science and AI, there's a large spectrum of slightly smarter than the average bear type software that adapts and is customizable and modifies itself and can survive change and so on. And that is kind of the AI world I live in, the practical application of slightly smarter than average computing, where maybe you need it because you have a slightly harder than average problem. So the the question you were asking me was related to B2B and so on. And I think most folks are more familiar with C2C, which would be consumer to consumer,
right,
which would be like eBay. And on eBay, you go and you pick an item, and you go to buy that item based on whoever bids the highest price. Well, B2B, if you picture, large companies need eBay too. Large companies, you're running a hotel in Vegas, you need to buy, 100,000 chairs and 100,000 tables or whatever for the rooms. So where do you go? How are you going to look for that? Well, eBay is going to have one chair, so you got to find these chair suppliers. So you need to put together what they call an RFQ, a request for quote. And that request for quote will detail how many chairs you need, what kind of colors you're looking for, what kind of details you want, and what kind of price you're looking for. But then there's a bunch of other things you might care about. How fast will they deliver them? What warranty do I get on them? What's the quality of them? How long has this company been in business? And what's the credit terms? Can I buy the chairs and pay for them next year? So you might care about those things much more than you care about the color of the chair. So that's called a multidimensional auction. You're now setting a request for quote on all these parameters that you have different levels of weighting or preferences on. So now instead of you looking for the chairs, you've now posted a wanted ad, and all the chair manufacturers in the world can come to the B2B exchange, and they can react and go, well, I'm a chair manufacturer. Maybe I don't make that chair, but maybe I could if the order is big enough. And they'll try and fill in the request for quote. And that involves a lot of things. Firstly, they're going to fill it in, and maybe they're stuck on the price, but maybe they can adjust the delivery time or the warranties or something else. And depending on what you want and whether you made that public or not, they may or may not get the deal. You may or may not stay with them, meaning you bought the chairs from them this time, but maybe next month when you need more chairs, you're just going to throw a request for quote out there and let them all fight it out again. Similarly, that person may be in France, and they may only speak French, but the B2B exchange will translate your English request for quote into French by globalizing it, translate your dollars into French francs on a daily basis so you get a good exchange rate. And they, who normally couldn't do business with you because they're French, can deal with all the local currency, taxes, delivery, details, and everything else through the site, and you just receive your chairs. You don't care from where.